What's up, kings and queens? Welcome back to another one of my self-cut videos. Oh my god, why are they driving backwards? Hold up. I made sure to jam-pack this video with a whole bunch of tips and tricks, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like what you see. I just want to say welcome if it's your first time on my channel, and thank you to everybody who saw my first quarantine self-haircut video. I really do appreciate all the likes and comments. It's your boy Avery3Relasting. Let's get right into this video. So we're gonna start with the second fade that I ever did on myself in September of 2020. And the first mistake I made was blindly shaping the hair that I have in the middle. So if you have longer hair in the top of your head and you like to fade the sides out, it's a good idea to have some guides for the longer hair and just section them off so you know exactly what hairs to cut and what hairs not to cut. And I'll show you exactly why I suggest that. No equipment was harmed in the making of this video. It's always a good idea to ask a friend or girlfriend to help you part the hair and section it off so you know exactly what hair to cut off and what not to. I like to start with the horizon line, and that's just what I call it, but it's pretty much your first guideline. And you use the zero or you use the trimmer to just go ahead and show exactly where you're going to start the fading process on your hair. And as you can see, the two mirrors that I use here, one in front of me and one on my right, there's another mirror on my right, although it's kind of hard to see. It wasn't really working out for me because I was really chopping up the sides of my hair, as you saw. So I had to go and use a different setup, which was a lot more convenient. I highly recommend this setup if you can make it work. Just one mirror in front of you and one mirror behind. Eventually you get that 360 view of your head while you're cutting. So there's so many different ways to achieve a fade, and my idea was from the horizon line to lift my next guideline using the size 2 comb and go up a little, and then go back with the size 1 comb and fade and blur out the lines in the middle. So let's see exactly how that came out. Currently I'm lifting with the 2, as you could see. I already have a uniform size on the side. I used a 4 to get a little bit in between the hair I have up top and where I want the low fade to be. It's really important that you just take your time. I cannot stress how important that is, especially if you're just starting off and learning to fade your own hair, because sometimes you can't even see, and you got to focus on smaller areas at a time. Currently, I'm blurring out the middle guideline by pushing the lever up and down in between the 1 and 1.5 comb and just getting rid of that guideline that you see in between the 2 and the 0. And that's pretty much how you fade. You just go from the lowest size to the highest size. Everyone always says use that corner of your clipper, but I cannot stress how important that is to you. Like, you want to take off as little hair as possible, especially when you're starting, so you don't make a mistake. I was impressed by the overall results of just my second fade. And this is exactly why I told you want to part the long hair, just to make sure that it's more even on top. And the fade came out good, but if I could go back, I would pay a little bit more attention to parting before I cut the top. So for cut number 2, I'm gonna deconstruct the process a little bit. And just like those scooters in the beginning, I'm gonna go backwards. So this is the after results from my October cut, and as you could see, I'm a little conceited, but I love the cut. Shake it off, Avery. While you watch me line up my beard, I'm gonna remind you that we're going backwards for this October cut. And the reason why is because I just want you to understand each step in the process of fading. And I achieved one of my favorite fades in this October video. The September cut and my first fade ever video probably took me about 2 hours each time. This one probably took me a little under 2 hours to achieve because I was getting a little bit more comfortable using 2 mirrors. As we go along right now, you're going to see a little bit more the mirror that I have behind me and the mirror that I have in front of me, how I use them to get that 360 view of the back of my hair and the front. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already done so, and thank you to everyone who is currently subscribed. So as you can see, once again, we're going backwards. So here's my beard hair just magically came back. One of the last steps in the process of fading is just making sure you go back and blur out every single guideline. And here I'm blurring out the bottom and just making sure from the horizon to the level 1 is all faded out and very neat. And I'm using both mirrors so I can get all the way in the back there, as you could see. So I have no comb there. I'm just pushing the lever up and down as I need to, and pretty much getting rid of any guidelines or any lines that show, taking off just as little hair as possible till I achieve that. Don't forget to just use those corners of the clipper just to make sure that you gain the correct amount of control and range of motion. When you're a pro, you could use as much of the clipper as you need to. I'm going over and blurring out the guideline in between the size 2 and the 0 using the 1 and pushing the lever up and down as I need to. And I'm doing the same on the back here with the 1. I sped these videos up, and this cut, the first cut that you guys saw, was real time. So I know it looks like my hands are moving a little faster, but it still took me about 2 hours to achieve this cut, as I already said. So as you can see, final steps of a fade are really just to make sure you go around and focus on every single area. Just blur out those guidelines to your best capabilities until you achieve a nice smooth fade, no guidelines showing. And I'm still going around with that 1 and pushing the lever up and down until I fade out the guideline in between the 2 and the 0. Now we going back another step. I'm putting it on real time for you guys just to remind you how slowly I do this, just to make sure I'm taking off the correct amount of hair and in the correct spot. Because if you move too quickly, you will get a bald spot. So take your time. And as you know, I've had bald spots. Like, it's natural, but get them out now that we on quarantine, guys. Just practice, practice, practice. Nobody gonna see your bald spots unless you make them aware that you got it. So, stay in the house. We in quarantine. All right, I'm still going around with the 2. We going back a step, and right here I'm shaping the sides. I had a friend help me with the top hair, so I did fix the shape of my top hair here. I'm currently doing a 3 and 4 on the sides just to make sure that my hair goes from the fade line all the way up to the top hair just more evenly, and it looks like a better smooth haircut all around. Now we're getting to the beginning steps of this fade, and you can see more and more hair is getting on my head. So right here, I'm making my first guideline. So I told you I was gonna let you know what a guideline is. This here, I'm using the 1 with the lever all the way up. So it's basically almost a 1.5, and I'm pushing the guideline. So as you could see, the 0 is that horizon. The 1 is the guideline that I just made. And I'm gonna do that all around the horizon line that I made, just so that I could push it up a level and start that fading process. Alright, we made it to square 1. So now y'all catching me do that horizon line, as I like to call it. It's your first guideline. You do it with the trimmer. You could do it with the 0 on your clipper if you don't have a trimmer. And yeah, it basically gives your fade shape, and it basically tells you how low or how high you want your fade to be. So as you can see, I like those low fades. And here we go. This was the before. So this is how much hair I had before I went and did that cut. Feel free and rewind if you want to see the after, but I'm putting up a picture so y'all can see I went and did that video right after I did this haircut in October. And this is my last haircut. I did this haircut in a record time of about an hour, and I didn't have that much time to even record because this was on Thanksgiving Day. I was cooking a few things as well for a party, and I had to make sure I looked good for that party too. So I didn't have that much time to do my hair. I have some recommendations of equipment and clippers on the right. As you can see, I'm using the All-Star combo, which I just showed. If you want to level up, here are a few things that I would suggest using. And you know, start with something beginner friendly, or if you just want to jump right in, if you're the type to jump right in the pool, you don't care the temperature, go with something level up or pro status. Thank you to everybody that finished the video this far. I hope you took some tips and tricks away from this video. And it's your boy Avery the Everlasting. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video if you learned something. Thank you again, everybody. Deuces.